The Gorecast is brought to you by American Horrors, the greatest uncut horror channel in the world. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all horror. As well as the station of decapitation without your head.
America's longest running horror channel, www.withoutyourhead.com.
The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
Whoa, what's up, Gorecasters, and welcome back here to the Gorecast on Thursday for the Thursday night group chat. Sorry for the slight hour and a half, 1 hour later. My computer or Dropbox or Facebook are acting the bollocks.
It's three things.
No, I'm pretty
things.
sure it's one of those three. I have my suspicions.
I said it once, I would say it again. Goddamn Skynet fucking Decepticon toasters.
Anyway, as is customary, down below me we have the gate. Down below me we have the Giz. To the
all shiny and bright and
side
new.
of me we got the Buzz, and right down here, boop, is Carter.
I like how I just completely ignored that. You're like, damn, Decepticon toast. As always, we have just completely ignored that.
Yep. That's
Okay.
It's not a show. It's not a show without me saying that at least once.
Well, yeah.
Oh, Katie is very much looking forward to the show tonight. Carter is in the chat. Hey, Carter.
It's like I thought you were say Carter's looking forward to it because he's on it,
and we got Bill up in the mix as well. And once,
Bill, as you can see, I got it all fixed and it's all nice and shiny.
And once I send this message, I'm sure we'll have several other people as well. But so last week, a fantastic director unfortunately passed away who happened to have done a couple of my favorite movies. Not all of them full-blown horror genre, but some, because I wouldn't really call Flatliners horror. It's more of a real dark thriller with horror elements.
Yeah, it was nice and atmospheric.
Yes. Gossip is just dark as hell. And then, of course, we have the classic Lost Boys, which we have covered on the show before, but I have no problem covering it again, because I'll talk about the soundtrack alone for an episode. Have no issues. Take it on to the light.
Cry, little sister.
Such a good tune. Such a good tune.
I was listening to that for like an hour before we started the episode, so it's like in my head.
I had the
I should have played it on the show. I'm an idiot.
That would have been really good.
Sure.
That would have been really good.
You would have, yeah, because I was trying to figure out what soundtrack I would play for on the show for tomorrow, and it just didn't occur to me.
9 Inch Nails, if memory served me correctly, did quite a good. Was it 9 Inch Nails? Someone did a really good cover of "Cry Little Sister." No, do you know what? It was Marilyn Manson.
Oh,
Marilyn Manson.
Marilyn Manson. Yeah.
Oh,
It's quite a good cover.
I saw that yesterday when I was looking for.
Teddy Joe, what's up, motherfucker? How are you getting on?
Well, man, how now?
Anyway, before we move on, because I've got some more social media related business to do, and then we'll get full on into the episode. We got some news bits, and the first news bit, up to the best of my knowledge, is that the director of John Wick is not looking to do, if memory serves me correctly, heavily in production is a reboot directed by the John Wick director of Highlander. Fuck yeah! Discuss. And I'm gone.
Yes.
Well, do you want to actually read out the article now that Johnny's paraphrased?
I've got to get back to the social media.
I will read some of it.
I have to get back to the media.
So, John Wick director Chad Stahelski was interviewed recently about said Highlander remake, and his quote from him says, "We are in heavily development mode on Highlander, tweaking the script, writing, conceptualizing sequences, how we are going to do everything. We probably have a lot more in-person kind of things, but it hasn't slowed us down our development process at all," is what he said to whoever he said it to. But it is a quote.
Nice.
Don't know. It was discussing films. I don't know if that's a website or whatever, but that's where he told that to.
Cool. Well, considering the fast pace of the John Wick movies, I imagine the sword fighting is going to be fracking awesome.
I wonder, seeing
Yeah.
as like Highlander takes place in futuristic times and past, will we get a bit of gun fu
Contemporary.
as well with swords?
Well, it'd be like if it's a proper reboot, then it'd be like contemporary as opposed to futuristic. So you could have gunplay, yes, but at the end of the day, decapitation is the way to go. No,
Decapitation, no bleeding.
But
don't
it
give
was
a
one of
fuck.
those
Sorry.
things that I was always I always found odd with Highlander. I know it did come up in the TV series a little bit, but it was kind of like, hey, you know, if you're not feeling so confident in your sword skills, has anyone thought about shooting this motherfucker in her leg and then going over and just cutting his head off?
Actually,
Yeah,
there was a guy
I
that
know
did
there
it.
was a guy, but it's kind of against the rules to a certain degree, isn't it, or something?
Bad form,
Yeah.
bad.
I think it's
Yeah.
I think
There's
it's against like the gentleman's rules.
Yes,
kind of. There's there was rules that were instigated, and they fleshed them out more in the series, like the notion of holy ground being neutral. Now,
Right.
in the original film, it's put forth that it's tradition, it's the rules. In the series, they expand on that and they say that someone actually did it one time, and that's what happened to Pompeii. So, you know, it's kind of, it's more.
Oh,
than
you have
just,
beings that are
like-
going against religion, and then the whole microcosm of it all happening in a big old house of God, and then madness. No,
No,
okay.
no, because it's not a house of God. It's any holy ground. It doesn't have to be a church. It
I-
could be
I
an
like
sorry.
Indian burial ground.
When did you hear me say church? I said house of God. Yeah,
House of God.
What? Most religions have a deity, and most religions have a building that they go worship said deity in. House of God. I'm keeping it as a generalized
Fair
term,
enough, fine.
just to clarify. I wasn't
Okay.
I wasn't getting my
Because if I
Jesus
remember
on.
correctly,
Also, to
Because if I remember
clarify,
correctly, didn't they have that one character like actually camp out on holy ground
Yeah.
for a while?
he was
Because
one of
McLeod,
the. Yeah, he was one of the oldest immortals, and he was
Okay.
actually one of the four horsemen.
Because,
Like he was one of
he
the
was
guys
just-
Tale of the Four Horsemen was based on. So he was
It
just
was-
like, "Fuck it, I'm out of the game."
With
okay,
Ric
that's what I
Flair
was
and
gonna
Arn
say. Because like
Anderson.
he had kind of denounced the whole fighting thing, is what I remember about the character.
Kind of, yeah. He didn't. He reclused himself from the game, or at least he did as much as he could, and then eventually that kind of caught up to him. And I think he.
Right.
Why are your fingers up?
Four Horsemen.
Oh, right.
Wrestling force.
Yes, no, it wasn't Ali. And
Because I just remember,
It wasn't.
I just remember the main character like going to visit him a few times, and like that kind of being one of those where he always went to visit him, and I think it came up once or twice, like, dude, aren't you ever going to step off this ground? He's like, no.
I'm good here. I'm good. But yeah, like I said, there was expansions of a lot of the rules and the mythos and things like that, and there was a lot of questions asked in regards how they came about and theories put forth. But it does mean that there's an awful lot of material that can be drawn from when it comes to the reboot, not just the original movie or its lackluster sequels, but it should prove, like, if they start up a franchise or something, there's an awful lot of things they can do with it. And like you said, the idea of having someone come along that's just like, fucking, I'm shit with a sword, bang, but I'm really good with a gun. That could be you know, equate in
Oh, God damn.
equate to,
Get away, phone call. Sorry.
but yeah, no, it could be like equating to in a samurai movie. You have one guy that's like in fucking Yojimbo. You had the one guy coming to town. He had the pistol, and no one could beat him. And they're all stuck with swords. So that only taken to a modern level because it's supposed to be using blades, and now everyone's just shooting everyone. So fuck 'em. But yeah, no, could be fun.
I was unexpected.
No, I dig the Wick series, so I think this could be a good run.
Yes.
On to the next bit.
Yes. We got some comic book news, y'all. Hold on, you guys. I don't know if you guys know. I got some breaking news for the three of you guys.
Is it Predator and is it Predator related?
It may be Alien or Predator or Marvel related, and possibly. So pick which one out of those you think it's related to. It's all of them.
Yep.
So, but just a bit of background there for you viewers that are wondering what in the actual frack we're talking about. the stories were sent between us earlier on, and then while we were getting ready to do the show, Buzz decided to turn around and go, "Oh, by the way, guys, did you know that Marvel is going to be doing Predator comics?" To which the three of us responded, "Oh yes, Buzz, that would be the article we sent you 2 fucking hours ago." Oh, I saw the picture. I didn't know what
And
that
my
was.
response was,
Alien and Predator.
whoops-a-daisies. I knew I had Predator relations, but I didn't know it was about the comic book. I'm sorry, guys.
There was a picture of a goddamn Predator holding Iron Man's cape.
I was eating a monster thick burger. My attention span was very, very. You're lucky I saw the Predator. So, anywho, this morning, IGN broke the news that Marvel will be the new home of Alien and Predator via the comics, because last year,
Disney owns the world.
Last year's acquisition of 20th Century Fox by Disney meant Alien and Predator became properties of the mouse. So,
The House of Mouse.
I'll be honest.
All hell mouse, dude.
I'll be honest. The artwork that we saw looks good, and Marvel have the ability to do good horror stuff when they put their minds to it. I've got reams of fantastic
the issue
Marvel stuff.
currently in the current climate that we're in, especially with Marvel, is that if they put their minds to it, is the applicable sentence I'm worried about. Because currently Marvel's very interested in writing stories about... There's a whole SJW series of superheroes out that have bad...
Right.
Oh, I know they failed. It's like before the comics came out, I knew it was going to fail. Don't ask me why.
By that same respect, though, it's not long ago that we had Ultimate Carnage, which was a great storyline.
Yeah, a whole lot's gone down in that brief period of time, unfortunately.
True. Yeah, that's true. That's true. With Disney acquiring 20th Century Fox, and with the fact that they now have Marvel bringing out comics for Alien and Predators, it does lend a lot of credence to the rumor that we could get a Predator cartoon or an Alien vs Predator cartoon in the not too distant future, which I kind of
fuck, dude. I'd lock down on a Saturday for that shit.
Yeah, especially because like Disney have proven they can do some really good animated stuff. Just look at Clone Wars and Rebels off the top of my head for one.
Right.
And the Marvel stuff they did was pretty good. The Avengers cartoons were good.
And they did unleash the darker episodes and unedited episodes of Gargoyles as well. So
yeah, they've got oh man, what if there's still a push to get a live action version of that?
Dude, fucking chalk it down.
I don't want.
What?
I just don't know if I want to. Like, I don't know if I could back that, dude. That's right up there with that whole live action Thundercats. I love Thundercats. I love Gargoyle, but I just don't know if I want to see that shit like live action.
We came this fucking close to getting a really good looking CGI Thundercats movie about a decade ago. There was,
and we came put up this really fucking close of dodging a horrid fucking bullet. Like, it could have gone sideways so fucking quick.
Oh man, that test scene they brought out was fucking brilliant. Lino was a smart arse little bastard, admittedly, but it could work.
Lino.
Just because you do something really good for 2 seconds, don't mean you can do it good for like an hour and some change.
Ain't that the truth?
Excuse me.
I think Johnny and I just sit back and listen to you guys fight.
Oh no, Johnny's gonna jump in on this Thundercats side
one.
of things 100%. Thundercats.
And on a little bit of side note, our weekly New Mutants update, the movie's still postponed. So just put that up.
Is that because you're wearing an X-Men t-shirt and he's wearing an X-Factor
Breaking
t-shirt?
news. It's still not happening.
It's not out yet.
I'm not going to lie. I was actually tempted on when I saw the two of you wearing those t-shirts. I was tempted on running off and putting on a Wolverine t-shirt, but I'm just a lazy bastard, and Merlin rocks.
Yeah, Merlin does rock.
I have Punisher hat on too.
T-shirt.
You got Deadpool on. You blind
Deadpool.
bastard.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Still
I've just noticed that we have a still image for Carter now.
They're both the same somewhere in there.
Your camera has frozen up, Carter, but it's frozen up and it looks like you were in the middle of going, "What's up?" which is great.
It's not frozen up for us, so it's only frozen. Maybe it's only frozen up for you. He's moving perfectly.
He's moving perfectly for you.
Up for us.
Katie said
he's
something
moving
about
fine for me.
He's actually been perfect for us since the stream
Okay, well,
started.
he's frozen up for me, but he is the only one that's frozen up, which is weird.
Cool. Works for us.
because even Katie pointed that in the chat.
Kind of. Katie, what?
Pointed that out in the chat that I apparently froze up a little bit back.
Did she?
Oh, okay.
Am I missing something?
As long as you can hear him, that's.
Anyway,
Oh yeah.
shall we move on to the third and final? Shall we move on to the third and final of the stories, which I feel a lot of people are going to be excited about?
Westworld creators developing Fallout TV series for Amazon.
What?
The people
Amazon teases the world of Fallout. Yes, I'm sorry. I gotta say the word correct.
It's so excitedly, I couldn't figure out what it was, dude.
I'm sorry. Amazon.
There we go.
Amazon.
Yep.
Hold on. AMASON.
Yeah, that's
Amazon.
definitely how you spell Amazon, all right. Yeah.
So Amazon teases the world of Fallout is one more where the future envisioned by Americans in the late 1940s explodes upon itself through a nuclear war in 2077. The magic of the Fallout world. Oh no! No! I don't want that.
What?
Okay. I like
Somebody pulled up the porn page.
He's right.
Amazon.
That's for after the stream.
I said Amazon, not Amazonians. God damn it!
It wasn't that. He probably got follow porn.
Damn you, Pornhub.
What came up? The best whitening toothpaste for your teeth. That's what popped up.
You were into some kinky shit.
What? Sorry. One sec. What is the best whitening toothpaste for your teeth?
It is. It doesn't say it.
Bullshit.
Sensodyne.
Bullshit. That's what I say. Goddamn bullshit.
Sensodyne. Sensodyne. Also, at McDonald's, you can get 2 large beverages for $2 each.
They're not paying us for any form of advertising. They can fuck off. Thanks.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, that was the other.
If you want me to talk about your Mackie D's, you pay me for your Mackie D's, or at least give me some free Mackie. Actually, no, don't give me free Mackie D's. Give me money. Give me money.
All right. So attempting to finish reading this article. The magic of the Fallout world is the harshness of the wasteland set against the previous generation's idea of a better world through nuclear energy. It is serious and harsh in tone, yet sprinkled with moments of ironic humor and B-movie nuclear fantasies.
I'm looking forward to this, and I haven't even played the games. I've seen other people playing the games, and I'm familiar with the tone and the setting. So I'm just kind of like, man, this could be post-apocalyptic fun. I feel it could be reminiscent of World War Z, except perhaps not as lighthearted.
See, I'll check it out because, I don't really know anything.
Carter,
about
weird
Fallout.
question. Could you hang up and ring back so I can resolve this frozen picture issue?
Why, yes, I can.
If it was a more flattering side of you that it had frozen on, I would have been like, I'd leave it, but it's just.
I will be right back.
Yeah, I'm quite excited for a Fallout TV series. I agree with you. You have a whole bunch of there's mutants. You got people who are you got mutants. You got cannibals. You got post-apocalyptic world. There's weird technology, and there's like a weird little micro government and everything that's kind of started running itself around.
Cool.
So. Customarily in your we got a loading screen for Carter, and any minute now we got some moving photos. By that I mean a video, because that's what those are.
Well, there we go.
Oh, and he's back butt sideways. I don't know how that happened.
Dude, I haven't moved my phone. I have no
Oh
clue.
my god! I just got lightheaded.
Okay.
Oh.
Maybe do that with your phone again.
Stand on your head.
If you.
Oh look, I have to go. Internet just.
There we go. That's good.
There we go. Oh man, we're all
It's a hell
facing
of
the
a
right
show.
way
We're
now.
20 minutes in and we already have handstands from Carter.
Oh, he's got.
We got handstands from Carter. We got Buzz. We got toothpaste adverts. This is what you tune in for. Fine quality horror content.
And we
We
haven't,
haven't
the
even
reviews of the
started
movies
the
yet.
movie review yet. Isn't that the shocking thing?
God.
Oh my god.
Yes, you're back and you're right side up.
Hey, there we go.
Oh, my face hurts.
Oh, good God.
That's one.
Now that everyone's here, shall we just start in with
Yes.
the movies before anything
I'm
else?
good.
Yeah, let's.
What do we want to
Uh,
start with?
Do you want to go
I don't care.
chronologically?
I can't remember what that
I
means.
believe that would be
I know
Lost
the
Boys,
That would
Flatliners
be-
gossip.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so okay, everyone just stop talking there. Okay, so
Composing myself.
first movie we're going to get into is the 1987 vampire classic, although I say classic semi-lightly because it's also partially responsible for Twilight indirectly. It made this it's irrefutable, the sexy vampire that wants the chick and all of that.
But don't forget, Near Dark was before it.
Yeah, and Near Dark is very much not responsible for Twilight. It's two different styles of movie completely.
But it was responsible for updating the notion of vampires into a more contemporary setting.
Yes, but this is very much more responsible for Twilight directly than updating vampires.
Yeah,
think
right.
so?
Hence the
Yeah.
look,
He's not
the
wrong.
sexy teenage vampire with the very, very inherent running love story and all of that kind of thing didn't really super exist before Lost Boys.
Well, Dracula.
No, Dracula went hunting for a woman.
Okay, but still not really young though.
He was also described as being aristocratic and
Yeah, and also
sexy.
yeah, he was aristocratic and sexy, and well, depending. It was. Bear in mind, if you're getting into Dracula, he's able to literally change his fucking appearance. So there was that element to it, whereas these are just young, sexy vampires.
His presentation as well. And
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, look, the point is, pretty
here we go.
people.
The sexy, edgy teenage vampire. There we go. Do you know, I wear leather trench coats. I've got a bit of a
You know,
mohawk.
I never really thought about it, but I guess you're right. Yeah.
Now, in
And
saying that,
it was
just
supposed to originally be that.
no, it wasn't. Just to clarify, I'm not taking away from Lost Boys at all because I goddamn love this movie. But a seed was planted that day.
Hey, by the same respect, there's a lot of really shit films that probably took inspiration from classics.
Yes, many,
So,
many.
but Lost Boys was originally supposed to be set with a much younger cast, with the Frog Brothers being like fucking Cub Scouts,
Yeah.
and Michael being like 12 or 13 maybe, something
Anyway,
like that.
Lost Boys tells Lost Boys
yeah.
tells the story of Michael, his mum, and his brother, who all come to Santa Carla, which, just to let you know, murder capital of America, just in case you're unaware.
Yes.
Because the mum has divorced her, the husband, and as her dad says, they're going to stay with the dad. And as the dad went, "You're the only woman I know on the planet who divorce will make her living situation better." So they're all moved to Santa Carla. Mike runs into a sexy young lady named Star while he's out and about wandering around listening to some awesome saxophone music at a local fair.
Mhm.
His brother runs around looking for some comic book street, at which point he runs into Corey Feldman and his friend, who are the Frog Brothers. This is where the two separate sides of the storyline kind of start happening, as one brother has somehow managed to run face first into hanging out with a pack of vampires, and the other one seems to have run face first into hanging out with a pack of vampire hunters. Oh, the dilemma. And on top of that, it would appear the mother is fang banging as well, even though she's not really aware of it at the time. So she's also not fang banging because they never actually get to she's fang shifting. Courting. There you go. And there's
Yeah, Yeah, there we go.
This brings us to a dilemma where the two brothers are trying to resolve the slight case of almost post-lifeiness that his brother is suffering. They're trying to save Star and her little brother, and they're trying to rid Santa Carla of what they assume to be several vampires that are in there, but they eventually learn by the end of the movie the whole fucking place is riddled with fucking living dead people. Yeah, you're fucking sure half of them are fucking vampires. And that...
One thing I can never stand about or stomach about living in Santa Carla,
all the fucking vampires.
All the fucking vampires.
Also, the dad is possibly, or
Thank
the
you,
granddad
Pops.
slash dad, depending on which generation of member of the family you're talking about, is the coolest motherfucker you're going to meet this side of 87.
Oh, fuck
Want to
yes,
go for a
dude.
trip into town? Okay, let's get in the car.
Yeah.
Hear that?
You love-
Sounds brilliant. Sounds purring. Yep. Okay, great trip. Are we going to town? Yep, that's about as close as I like to get to it.
Yeah, and for valid reasons. I just stay up here with my Oreos and my house, and I do my thing, and I don't worry about the vampires until my fucking retarded kids and retarded grandkids invite them directly into my fucking house.
Dude, you got to give it to a boy. He only had like a couple rules. Don't fuck up the TV guide. Don't fuck with the second shelf in the refrigerator.
I loved his TV guide logic, which was like, so Grandpa, do you have a TV? No, if you have TV guide, you don't need a TV. Yes, that's it's kind of true. Kind of true. I was actually going to do a whole gag about how I hadn't watched the movie. I just read about it in TV guide, but I won't lie to you. All the stress getting this going, I forgot. So, moving on. So, essentially, that's the overall storyline of Lost Boys, because it's one of those beautiful movies where it doesn't have a complicated storyline. It's a simple storyline, but it was simple and good, which is a combination of things we don't get these days anymore. It was good.
And it has a kick-ass soundtrack.
They've moved to town. All of the kids are teenagers. The teenage lad sees a hot lady. The hormones, they flare. He goes after her. But unfortunately, she's a fangbanger. And she's all eaten. It's she's not fully eating.
Shakespearean.
It is a little bit. It is slightly Shakespearean, except that there's a lot more undead people at the start opposed to at the end.
But as I said, originally because the movie was supposed to be a younger age, it would have been, rather than Michael falling for Star, it would have been Michael making friends with a young boy named Star, and then Sam running into the Frog Brothers, who would have been Cub Scouts and fascinated by vampires and all the rest of it. But when they got in your man to play Michael, he insists, that was it. They got in Joel Schumacher, and to direct, and he insisted on upping the age demographic, and then managed to browbeat your man that played Michael to come in, and the two of them did a lot of work together.
And that kind of moxie,
right?
That kind of moxie is why he's having a Gorecast special about him with his untimely passing, because it's a great move. As I said, I did slightly say that it planted the seeds for Twilight, but unfortunately, many great plants have been planted and then they grew up to be shit.
And see, like I never knew it was supposed to be like a younger cast and shit.
In the original,
as interesting as that would be, like I don't see it having as much pull as it did with the way Schumacher did.
So essentially, it was supposed to be kind of like a Vampire Monster Squad kind of vibe, Goonies kind of thing.
Yes, very much Goonies.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you're right. If they by upping the age demographic and by making it edgier, and by, especially because they're vampires, and by let's be fair, they definitely did their homework in regards looking at the character of Dracula and how vampires were portrayed, because we can look at Max as being a variation of Dracula. Once again, right. the old-fashioned courting, the way that he represents himself.
Yeah, and then even the certain level of disdain he has for the way that the younger group of vampires are run around, do their thing. You can tell he doesn't agree with how outwardly they're. You're making it very obvious that you guys are fucking doing shit, and I would very much appreciate if you keep it the fuck away from my shop.
But I also liked, because David's that younger, he realizes what he has. And he's like, dude, why not flaunt it? Fuck it.
Yep.
It's just, but he knows that limit, because, he's like kind of, they walk into his video store and they're kind of being douchebags. He's like, dude, I told you to get the fuck out. I'm leaving, but I'm going to stay here 2 more seconds just to prove that I'm like, I'm not scared of you.
Yeah,
One,
I'm leaving because I want to leave.
Well, that's the standard big dick move, which is like, okay, I don't want to get in a scrap with this guy because he's going to rip my head off, but I'm very much going to make it look like I left on my own terms. Yeah, I'll leave.
Because like I got 4 or 5 guys like, oh, he's a badass because he stood there for a second. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Woo, fuck, you know, like all of that made those fucking moments in the movie so fucking cool.
I really enjoyed Kiefer Sutherland. He was amazing in this movie.
I love Kiefer Sutherland in every movie, to be blatantly honest.
So do I. He's probably one of my favorite actors.
Jack Bauer.
So,
Nobody tortures people like Jack Bauer, and that's the way I look at things. Playing a fucking do.
Young Guns, motherfucker.
I was gonna say, like, he had shit back in the day. Not so much nowadays.
Oh God. Ooh, I almost threw a water bottle at you. It wouldn't have done anything to you, but
I thought you were throwing the water bottle because the cat's up behind him.
Maybe that too.
Oh my God, the cat is behind him. Hey, it kind of looks like it's sitting on your head.
A little bit, yeah.
My cat throwing shit at it. I don't get it. Either way, like I'm just saying, like young Kiefer Sutherland was like really talented.
Yeah.
Old Kiefer Sutherland kind of like, I have a role. I've done this for far too long.
You should watch the TV show he was in, where he's the president of the United States.
Designated
survivor.
Something.
Survivor.
Yeah, that's quite good.
See, and I watched 24. I didn't like the first season was cool. After that, like it was like,
The thing with 24, and I love 24, and I'll always give credit to 24 for its ability to keep you gripped to the point that my dog loves 24. Like, if I put on 24, my dog will sit down and watch that TV until 24 finishes. But
let's be fair, at this stage, if you put on anything with Kiefer Sutherland, he'd probably sit down and kind of go,
yeah, you've seen that as well. My dog has a thing for Kiefer Sutherland. I don't know what it is. Like,
He gets used to people. Do you remember you used to babysit him with old videos of us?
Yeah. If we were leaving the house, I used to just put on like a Gorecast playlist, and he'd just sit down happy, myself and Giz floating around the house. my dog's an idiot.
I don't know. Like you see, like
moral of the story,
like Young Guns and you know,
love Young Guns.
Like that. From Flatliners, like he.
I didn't really like him as much in Flatliners. I don't know why. We'll get into that when we talk about Flatliners.
Like he still had some edge that he had to, like that you see in Boys.
Yeah,
you know. 24 and Designated Survivor. Like I said, I liked the idea of 24, and it did. It entertained me for the first season. After that, it didn't really do as much for me because, like, you know, it's Christmas. Once you unwrap the gift and you figure it out, it was like, oh, okay, so it's just every day.
My issue with 24 by the end of it, and it did still keep me entertained right up to the end. But after season 1, it got to a stage of how much shit can actually happen in a 24 period, like a 24-hour period. Like I feel there's a lot of stuff happening in one day. You know, I feel that this could not have all happened in one day.
Shit.
So,
like, right. And it was, but it also just didn't seem like it was the same Kiefer Sutherland that I got used to watching in all of the other stuff.
So Katie says that her cat has the similar effect with Bruce Dickinson.
Because Buzz is right above me, by the way. It
makes walking on is kind of weird, and like I have to kind of like zen up for it. But yeah.
And we're back. There we go. Sorry about that. It would appear
there's.
It would appear whatever weird.
I really hope people heard that conversation, or at least the last bit of it.
They could have done. I don't know. Apologies for whatever's going on with my computer. If I try to do anything, it will freeze up. So interesting times ahead.
Shall we? So does, or will everything explode?
No. I'll tell you what. I want funny story. That probably froze up because I was loading up the trailer. So let's talk about the movie a little bit more. We'll just give this lad a little bit of moment to catch up with the rest of us. You know, I don't know if it's computers working dog ears or something. I'm who knows, but
So one of the more interesting aspects, I think, of Lost Boys is the fact that it was the starting point for a couple of different careers, including an intrepid time traveler who is set to return very soon.
Bill,
Bill and Ted. Bill and Ted.
Theodore Logan.
A couple of people like actually really came out of this, and a handful really didn't.
Yeah. You could see most of the cast I've spotted in at least one or two more films afterwards. But
what was his name? Dwayne, Billy Worth, right? He kind of disappeared, but now he's actually kind of making comebacks in like B grade as an adult. But I haven't seen.
Your major star power in this were you had the two Feldmans, not the two Feldmans. You had the two Coreys, and you had
Coreys.
Sutherland, and the guy who played
Jason Patrick has had a decent.
That's what I was getting onto.
I couldn't think of his. I could remember Patrick. I couldn't remember his first name though.
It did launch the career of several musicians though.
I don't remember ever seeing.
Like the saxophone guy literally still tours around now, just playing tunes from the Lost Boys.
Yeah, okay, and that's kind of weird because I've seen pictures of him, and we're talking like, I'm sorry, I was about to go like some 80-year-old dude. I don't know how old he is. I just know there was like that young beefy motherfucker from like Lost Boys, and the not so beefy wrinkly motherfucker now still trying to throw like the chain.
I won't lie to you, he's still pretty beefy. Yeah.
Okay.
I was watching some live show of his recently. He's not as tanked as he was back then, but he's still like for a dude of his age, he's pretty fucking ripped now. To be honest, like.
Yeah. In that defense, then hey, it's cool that he's still carrying that saxophone around doing shit
and rocking leggings.
Right. It's kind of like fucking Carrot Top. I would make fun of him back in the day. I don't fuck with him now.
Yeah, Carrot Top's built like a brick shit house now.
Right, dude. Yeah, no, that's just not joking material in him.
He's still a pansy ass bitch.
Go you, Buzz, because I won't do that.
It's all fun and games till you get your head knocked off by a ginge.
No, that's still fun and games.
Katie can confirm that she did not hear the conversation that we had. Just something about Bruce Dick, and then we froze.
We were talking about your Bruce Dickinson comment with the kitty.
Yeah, we weren't talking about Bruce's dick.
No, we were not talking about Bruce's dick.
Like the boss Springsteen. So yeah, you Lost Boys. That was a movie.
Yeah, as I said, a cult classic.
It's funny how Buzz started the show saying how much I love this movie, and then ended with, Lost Boys. That was a movie.
I was trying to transition away from Bruce's dick, and that's the one thing I could think of.
Which I'm sure it's iconic in its own right, but you know.
Who the frack is Bruce?
Bruce Dickinson.
Bruce Springsteen, the motherfucking boss.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
You see what I mean? I told you.
It
definitely was not Bruce Springsteen is who we were. I can clarify wholeheartedly now we were not talking about Bruce Springsteen.
Okay, but we don't know. Maybe they both have like iconic.
I'm sure they both have iconic wangs, but I don't.
And we're gone.
I stress myself trying to get this show running today, and this is the bullshit I have to deal with online.
We'd gone to a trailer.
The group chats on Thursdays have slowly turned into me giving a super quick synopsis of movies and then us just talking shit until we get to a point that we're like, oh yeah, we were talking about movies. Will we hit a trailer? Yeah, fucking we'll hit a trailer. Yeah, might as well hit a fucking trailer. We played a whole trailer and it didn't freeze up. That was...
Hey, don't jinx it.
Heads up, we've detected copyrighted audio. I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did.
Hey, thank you.
Thanks for the heads up there. I sure. You know, up until there 2 seconds ago, I was full sure I owned that trailer. Fucking madness. Anyway, in what nearly turned
like...
into a Kiefer Sutherland triple threat, until I was like, oh yeah, it's Joel Schumacher. We have next up from 1990. 1990, Flatliners, starring. This is a pretty whapped up, star-studded cast. You have Kiefer Sutherland, you have Julia Roberts, you have Kevin Bacon. I got stuck there. I was kind of like, what Baldwin is it? There's a Baldwin.
The one that being in voyeur movies.
Yeah.
This and he's in Sliver.
Yeah. So Kevin Bacon, Kiefer Sutherland, Julia Roberts, that guy whose name I can't remember, and there's a Baldwin.
Oliver Platt.
Which?
Oliver Platt in the Baldwin. One of the
they're all a bunch of medical students. They've been working on a way to get you to die, so you're able to go over to the afterlife, essentially, and then resuscitate you, bringing you back.
Yeah, Kiefer Sutherland's character stumbles on this great notion that, hey, what lies beyond? No one's ever died and come back before. So he ropes in...
I'm just going to say now, there's a fucking reason.
There's
a reason people don't come back.
Oh, yeah. So he ropes in, Julia Roberts, Kevin Bacon, Oliver Platt, William Baldwin, because they're all working in a hospice and are surrounded by death. And you have Julia Roberts' character, Rachel, at one point, questioning people about near-death experiences and the things that they saw. Yeah. So he convinces them to come along and help him because he's going to whack himself and he wants them to bring him back after a minute initially, just to see what it's like on the other side. So they do it. He convinces Kevin Bacon to do it because he's after getting himself kicked out anyway. So what the fuck's he got
Kevin
to
Bacon,
Yeah, he just tap danced his way in there and showed them all how to dance back to life.
He had some great Kevin Bacon hair, though. It was some great hair.
That's the same hair he had in Tremors.
Same hair he had in every movie.
I think we're froze up again.
Yeah, pretty much.
No. Yeah, I know we're froze up. Yeah, this is what I get for trying to queue up trailers. I'm very angry now.
I imagine so. Deep breaths. I can see the vein throbbing from here.
Yeah.
I think we're back.
Yeah, I think we're back.
Okay. So, yeah, as I was saying, after Nelson comes back from the dead, basically, he convinces them all to give it a go. And at first, it's William Baldwin's turn, and he too enjoys the experience, describes it as being slightly differently, and afterwards has some adverse effects whereby it seems that the two of them are haunted by stuff from their past, seemingly. Eventually, he would manage to cajole Kevin Bacon into giving it a go because it was either him or Julia Roberts.
Julia Roberts doing it.
They were all against. Yeah, they were all against her trying it because it's the 90s.
We're men and we do that kind of thing. And to be completely honest, Julia, you're way too hot to be risking this off the bat. We're going to put in Bacon.
Right. We can die and come back better before women can.
Yeah.
I don't think I think it's more Kevin that Bacon kind of old age level of chivalry where it's just like, no. This is a risk and a venture into the unknown. We can't be letting you do that. No.
Right.
We'll send the two guys in who obviously have mental problems due to things that have happened to them in the past. They're the guys that you want. Sorry, not mental problems, but they have stuff that traumatic experiences.
Well, I mean, not really. Nelson's the only one that had a traumatic experience when you think about it.
Well, I mean, like, you
can't really Julia Roberts, but they don't find that out later, actually.
Yeah, exactly. This is my point. Nelson's the only one that seems to have had a traumatic experience when he was younger. For fucking Randy, William Baldwin's character, it's more that he's being haunted by his own sins and his own guilt. And for Kevin Bacon's character, it's the same. It's his own sins and his own guilt. Not that
can like the same thing about about Sutherland though. Like that was his sin and his guilt.
True, but
it's just a little bit more to an extreme though.
Exactly. Right, it's the only one that can be said to be traumatic.
Right. It's but I guess like my point is who's to weigh whose sin? It's like it's your sin, so like that's the one that weighs the heaviest on you.
Very true. It's the Egyptian way of looking at it. Anyone that has when they die, you wear the guilt in your heart against the feather. Your heart
that
is
whole like
more than your
stub toe
guilt.
shot a guy. It's
Okay,
just that
I worded
what
it
weighs
badly,
the most
but
on
they
you.
pick people who have. Just get back on topic. They pick people who, although in fairness, as it turns out, Julia Roberts probably would have had a similar experience regardless if she went in first either. Actually, hers probably would have been way more fucked up.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
they were doing the manly thing where it was just like, no, can't let you do that. We'll do it instead.
I kind of like how Oliver Platt was like, "Fuck you all! I'll just videotape some shit."
Oliver Platt. Yeah, well, you can tell which one's the proper scientist out of the bunch of them. No, I'm not going under. You go under.
He was doing the voice recording.
Cinema Reaper, what's going on?
It was Baldwin's character.
Like he was the test subject. Y'all fucked up. I didn't. Let's see what happens. So
there's no problems behind the record button. Just Ani offy, Ani. That's it. That's it. You guys go wander around the afterlife, and I'll just sit here and I'll document it. Yep, they're looking dead. They're
still dead.
Yep, still looking dead.
And that's pretty much how the whole middle of the movie is.
There's a lot of just.
Yep.
They're
dead.
Definitely dead.
Bring them back. Give 50 cc's of clear. That's pretty much what the whole middle of the movie is.
The middle of the movie was like all of
very good job of being
the middle of the movie was like all of the exciting parts from an episode of ER, but crammed into just the middle of the movie.
Basically, the film itself does do a very good job of being atmospheric, and it starts off a really good, fast pace. It draws you in, but it does peter out towards the middle of it. So you're sitting there kind of going, "Man, is this fracking thing still on? What the smell?"
Well, it's one of the.
I will say though, like it was also oddly dark. Like it seemed like some of the scenes were like overly done. Does that make any sense?
As in, like visually done in darkness?
Visually, right? Like, okay. They're standing outside, like it was kind of towards the end. Everybody's like, kind of piled around the car. I think Kiefer Sutherland had just gotten his ass kicked. We have Kevin Bacon and Julia Roberts having their go, and she walks off. Like so many of those kind of random standalone scenes just seem like Batman or The Crow extra dark.
Well, a lot of that
I think that was
what they were doing. They were doing at night, so those scenes took place.
There was also, I think, a lot of it that was kind of a cinematography kind of way of differentiating between both places.
Presenting the atmosphere.
And dark.
When you can tell when they were going into like the, I don't know if you want to say alter reality, when like everything kind of went red, and that was kind of showing when it went into their visions of their past.
And it fit. It just seemed like they kind of built like an extra dark reality around them. Like when we weren't fucking with everything and we were just like having conversations and having our like reality, not fighting demons. It just seemed like the reality was just kind of a weirdly based, extra dark.
Well, even from the outset, even the near the beginning of the film, that first time to go into the cathedral, it's all very dark, gloomy when they're going in there. And it's, once again, this film's a weird one because it does do a really good job of setting a dark and like foreboding tone. And what's kind of slightly annoying about it is, while you do have the payoff in the form of people being haunted by their guilt and haunted by the things that have been brought on by these near-death experiences, it's round about the middle of the film. It's like Buzz said earlier when we were talking about things, it's same old, same old. You're getting the same couple of variations.
This different person.
Yeah. And even with the same person, it's the same stuff over and over again. And I understand that it's building up. But apart from Nelson, you don't get any physicality and you don't get a physical threat. You don't get a sense of physical threat for anybody.
There was also, like, I mean, that middle section as well, like, we were all kind of discussing it off camera, partially during the freeze up and partially before we got into the actual show itself, where it was kind of like, it felt like they just added a whole lot of extra death/revival /death/revival just to kind of fluff out the middle of the movie a bit, which it's a very effective process initially, but you become very quickly into the center section of the movie, you become very desensitized to the whole. They're killing them. They're reviving them. They're killing them. They're reviving them because it just becomes quite systematic.
It's weird.
Like, I don't know.
I was going to say it's weird, but I think if they had rather actually just done a montage for fucking the other two.
How do you how
funny
do you
enough,
montage that though? It's kind of like what tune do you play?
I don't know.
What tune do
Well, you just
funny
edit
enough,
it
like,
all together.
gosh.
Like you start with the beginning and the end, but just kind of intertwine all the characters that go under, as opposed to.
I still want to see
the same
John's
kind of
version
atmospheric
where
music
they're
was
like,
going through.
I'm dead, I'm back. Like, okay. Because like Sunday I had a lot of fucking free time on my hands, so I went ahead and watched Flatliners and the
I'm
remake.
so sorry.
They actually kind of did that. No, like it's a shit movie.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
Like,
it's so bad.
Shit. But like they did do what we didn't do in the first one. We did like a quick, like everybody kind of fucking died. Like we didn't stretch it out. Like we did the initial first person. Like Giz went first. We went through all the trauma and the fear. But with each one of us, they like shortened it, and then they didn't have to fucking rehash the whole
kind of
thing. And everybody kind of went on with their own drama.
They kind of edited it as well, so it was kind of like you saw one guy go under, you saw little flashes of everybody else while they were under, and then you got a real quick kind of, not literally a montage, but there was a real quick systematic cut if you see all 3 or 4 of them kind of coming to. Boom. Done.
It was almost kind of a montage, but like they mashed that all together. So we still watched Johnny's turn.
Montage was the wrong word for me to use.
Oh no, I'm glad you did.
That's
I have so many entertaining stuff running through my head right now. It's not even funny.
But you know what? Montage works for me though, because when it was Johnny's turn, like I said, we watched his half, but we also had like cuts of us trying to bring him back, and it made the movie shorter, and they were able to stretch out like the more meaningful moments of them actually dealing with their trauma.
It was the weird flip with the remake and the original here, because it was like the original it had really good substance but some really bad pacing issues in the middle, whereas the remake had really good pacing and shit substance. There was kind of nothing like
that is kind of the color by numbers.
Yeah, well, like I went through the entire Flatliners remake and did not give a shit about a single fucking person. That I couldn't give a fuck if they came back or not by the end of the movie. Like you didn't feel for anyone in it. It was just, oh, these are the people, and this is how a Flatliners happens, because they kill people and then they bring them back from the dead.
It didn't like give you, like, they kind of went ass backwards, and they didn't like really develop the characters that much at the beginning. We're just like, boom, they're killing themselves 2 seconds into the movie. Like, okay,
we're supposed to care about like the one person, but in the highlight of it, though, they did show us that we could have done the first film differently and not made it feel so dragged out and repetitious.
Well, I mean, give me 1 sec. Let me just double check here, super quickly. I think
Age was like the biggest star they had on that fucking one, next to Donald Sutherland, or I'm sorry, Keith Sutherland.
Like Flatliners is nearly 2 hours long, if memory serves me correctly.
It's like a hair under 2 hours.
It's an hour and 54 minutes.
Yeah.
And like same way we were talking about what were we talking about earlier where we were like, it was an hour and a half. Oh yeah, Gossip. Gossip was an hour and a half. It was fast, it was punchy, it was good. And I really think some slightly cut down, for lack of a better description, montagey shit in the middle of the movie really could have, like Flatliners 1990 at about an hour and a half, hour 40 for me would have been perfect.
I think if we would have just went from the beginning and maybe developed the characters a little bit more, and then got into the experiment or whatever, and then just kind of condensed that, I think you still would have gotten, I mean, close to the same length, but just not as much repetition.
Yeah, well, I mean, like there was good character development and stuff, in my opinion. Like you got a rough.
Eventually,
I mean, even going into it initially, like, I mean, at the very start of the movie, like, your main focus is Kiefer Sutherland, and then they branch that out in a kind of a spiral, which kind of, in the way the story is being told, makes kind of sense, because he's the one that's bringing this crazy proposal to the table, shall we say. So
it's my idea, damn it, don't forget it was my idea.
It makes sense to say kind of.
But I feel like we focused more on like Sutherland and Roberts. Like they kind of.
But
Kevin Bacon had a pretty good.
What I'm saying is,
like, it's not been called a name when they were kids, though. Like, it just.
What I'm saying is, at the start, it stays Kiefer-centric, and then as more people start going under, you start getting the background reveal about what's kind of going on in people's noggins a little bit, and that's where the character development happens. It's just eventually that side of the character development stops, and it's just people just getting murdered and revived again repeatedly, and then you get into the kind of the final furlong of the movie.
And it also seems that, like, go ahead.
No, you first, dude.
It also seems like it affects Keith Sutherland's character most, like physically, like he's like getting his ass kicked. We don't know how because we see it in his visions, but until towards the end, we kind of see once after. I don't want to like ruin anything, but after Kevin Bacon does something, Keith Sutherland's kind of in his truck waiting for him to finish up what he's doing, and Bacon gets in the car and like. Keither is almost like battling himself. So like we don't see that until towards the end, closer to the end.
Kind of dug that because like that actually goes into what I was going to say was I liked we weighed everything like equally. What your issue was, mine may not have been the same to somebody else, but it was still equal to me. You could see Sutherland actually physically fighting his demon, and who was it? William Baldwin was more like he was having those visual hallucinations. While he was standing there talking, he would see like a TV pop on and his issue would be up on the television. And so I kind of liked how it affected people differently.
Which makes sense in the realm of the experiment because it'd be very unlikely to have everyone have a systematic reaction to what's going on. Especially considering that a lot of as we were discussing earlier, a lot of the kind of the horror aspect of this is brought by what's the duality within you when you go under initially, or what's the thing that you need to face when you go under initially.
I also like there was there was a one line at one point where Kevin Bacon is talking to Julia Roberts and they're discussing why Kevin Bacon wants to do it, and it's kind of like, well, why are you all of a sudden doing it? Do you think there's something there? And he's like, I don't know. To be honest, I don't think, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just a chemical or a fucking a hormone or something that's released into the brain on time of death to make you go over easier. And I'd heard things like that said before as kind of an explanation for people's visions for near-death experiences. And it almost seemed like a throwaway line for such an important notion in this movie, that the whole idea of they're approaching this from a scientific aspect, but by the end of it, they're very much leaning in the opposite direction. And all of it could theoretically be explained by this one line that's almost cast aside.
I feel that quickly. Line was cast aside specifically for that reason in relation to this story. Because if you look up a lot of actual scientific... Okay, I literally did nothing now and the computer froze up. Goddamn. Although we don't appear to be frozen here, so I'm going to keep talking. Like, if you look into the...
We are on YouTube.
We are frozen on YouTube?
Mm-hmm.
Not on my end.
I've got it up behind my phone and it's spinning.
It's spinning now.
It is on my end now, too. That's some good discussion.
Okay. Everyone's moving again, so just give it 2 seconds. I'm sure we'll be back.
It's like we're back.
Yeah, okay, we're back there now. Sorry, as I was saying, if you look into kind of some of the actual scientific studies, not in the realm of movies, about how they think the afterlife and you traveling over and things like that work, a lot of it is very much based around what Giz was talking about there earlier, that it is possibly a chemical release. That it is possibly a chemical release that's going out into the brain. Like, I mean, depending on how you go, like say if you're drowning, there's a lack of oxygen and stuff like that. Now you can begin to hallucinate from a lack of oxygen and things like that quite easily. Endorphins and things and adrenaline especially would start to increase in the body. All of those, a mixture of all of those things would make you trip balls essentially. And that there was discussions about that. Whereas, as you said, they kind of hopped over that. It was a throwaway line, so I'd imagine it was put in there so that the scientific basis of everything was there. But they very much wanted to go more into the
pack of scientists.
And they very much more wanted to go into the metaphysical side of things than the actual realism side. So I do feel that it was put in there just so there was some validity to the science side of what they were talking about, but hopped over it because I believe it would have brought a lot of loopholes up in their story or question marks about.
Well, it wouldn't. It actually wouldn't have from a psychological aspect of it, because if you were to imagine that this chemical is released and as a result they are forced to flash fry, remember their lives and hone in on their own sins, then it would leave a psychological mark and they would potentially be tripping balls and hallucinating as a result of the trauma that they've just put themselves through.
Go ahead.
Yeah, okay, because like that actually kind of goes into what I was thinking, like, because I was like, hey, I really appreciated that they all handled it different, or like we all visually saw it differently. So I kind of like that because, like Iz said, there's that chemical, you're going to see hallucinations, and that kind of that reinforces that whole, like, we're all not going to see the same hallucination, and I thought as far as the movie went, like, you could be cheap, you could be easy and just be like, oh, hey, we're all going to see the same thing, but we didn't. And so that's where I thought, as far as like Schumacher went, like, that was kind of fucking brilliant, if you ask me, because that could have been easy, but he went that extra inch and was like, dude, we won't see the same shit.
The individual guilt that each character goes through is the character growth, I suppose. It is the development of the characters by way of showing how they react to their darkest sins being thrown up in their faces. Because Kevin Bacon gets one flash with an instantaneous, like, what the frack? Whereas Nelson, Keith or Sutherland is continuously getting this and he's trucking on anyway. Fucking William Baldwin's character is seeing this stuff, and at the same time he's kind of into it until it starts seeing it too much, and he all of a sudden realizes what it's supposed to be. It's not just him remembering this really good experience he had, it's him remembering this really good experience he had that he has this fuckload of guilt over.
And I also kind of liked how the longer it went on, the more we saw like a stronger version of it. Baldwin started actually physically seeing the women, like as he was walking up to his apartment. Like that kind of guilt was now taking that more physical form instead of just a few corner of the eye vision.
Well, I feel it's also sort of it's stuff that's probably running around in his subconscious all of the time anyway, and this has very much opened the floodgates of the subconscious to the foreground. Will we start?
Yeah, and now
we'll start rolling into a trailer just while we have everything functioning again.
Yeah.
Hopefully, fingers crossed, this should not crash the stream. But so anyway, here's the trailer for Flatliners, and we're going to be back with a bit of a dark horse, because I do remember initially thinking this was dog shit when I watched it years ago, and then upon watching it tonight, I was like, that's actually not a bad movie. We're going to be back with Gossip from 2000 and something. 2000. God damn it. Every time I have a number in my head. It was 1990 and then it was 2000. Anyway, we'll be back very quickly after these brief Flatliner related messages. Yeah, trailer. That's the one, yeah. Flatliner related messages.
Today's a good day to die.
Flatline.
30 seconds to go.
Can you recall any specific emotion or sensation?
No, but there is something out there.
We're running out of time.
300, clear. Nothing. Your heart, go again. Clear. Nothing, I can't hear anything. Come on, Nelson. Breathe. We lost him. No!
Welcome back, man.
I'm going next.
2 minutes.
2:10.
Was there anything negative about your experience?
This is too weird. We've experienced death.
Now, somehow we brought our sins back physically. They're past.
That is not hallucination, and it is not possible.
Oh, my God.
You withheld information. That's the same as lying.
You wouldn't have done it.
At least we would have had a choice. They're not real.
Hey, come on, they're your sins. Live with them. I do.
No! Nelson, please!
I thought I paid my dues.
Thank you for the nightmare.
No! Come on, Joe.
Starting CPR. One 1,000. Two 1,000.
Flatliners. Some lines shouldn't be crossed.
2, 1. And we're back. That was the trailer for Flatliners. So you get a rough gist. That's something we didn't mention as well, that they started like casino betting themselves who could stay dead longer. We had forgotten to mention that.
Right. That was just the one
Keither's
scene.
more thing too.
That was
He's like,
like
well,
their
this
egos
part-
kind of-
we've already been dead for a minute 20.
Well,
We got to move up to a minute
I feel
40
it's also
and
something
stuff
that
like
shows
that.
a slight insight into the way the human brain works, because it's kind of like, initially it was kind of like, oh, we have to respect this because, this is a very twitchy thing that we're doing and we're blah, 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 blah. And then once they conquered the twitchiness initially, the cojones start to grow in relation to the situation. And it's just kind of like, no. I can do 2.5 under.
like
2.5's too crazy. I'm going 245. Fuck your ass.
Dude,
See,
it's
okay,
like with
and I
anything.
kinda
Once you
wonder,
get a success, you start getting confident, and then you start doing it more. Sure, it's fucking like driving a bike. Well, a bit
I
nervy,
kinda
and then after a while,
I always kind of wondered the growth in time did that have like a adverse effect on the later group? Like obviously Keith or Sutherland had some shit, but would all of their was like the minute marker the beginning for everybody, or was it the fact that we started adding?
Well, I mean,
time?
if you wanted to
You
get
know
into
what I
it on
mean?
the medical side of things, I
think
mean, there's a
if
very
you-
high possibility that a lot of the issues could literally be down to like lack of oxygen to the fucking brain and stuff.
Here's the thing: if you look at when Kevin Bacon goes under, he's under for the longest, and it hits him straight away.
See, and
Whereas
that's
with,
what I was kind of wondering.
with Nelson's character,
Oh, yeah.
it creeps up. With William Baldwin's character, it creeps up a little bit faster. Kevin Bacon is under for for over 2.5 minutes. So when he gets it like a flash.
So that
Boom, straight
kind
into
of
the
makes sense with Julia Roberts because she was pulled out sooner, so she couldn't get a full picture of from what it seemed like of her, sins. Or even though to me, I was
Because,
kind of talk about this.
Right, she did kind of walk around, kind of lost in hers.
Her
Yeah,
thing
it crept
didn't
into
seem
her
like
as well.
these were personally something that she did. Like the others actually did something. Hers was something that she thought was caused by her, but it really wasn't.
But it's still the feeling of guilt. And you're right.
Oh,
She was
I
under-
get, I
she wasn't-
understand that. I'm just saying, out of the group, hers is not something that she may have felt the same amount of guilt, but she didn't cause the situation like the other three did.
What I was going to say was, you're right, because she wasn't under as long, and it did seem to creep up on her the way that Nelson's did at first. So proving the point that if you're under longer, it's going to hit you faster. But overall, Flatliners, it is a good movie. It does slow out a bit in the middle of it. It does do a very good job of keeping a sense of kind of dark menace, I suppose, about what they're doing, while at the same time, regardless of the fact that they are clearly getting more and more confident and trying to do it more and more, you still do feel some sense of peril for the characters and what they're doing. But I suppose move on to the next film, the one that I didn't get a chance to see because technology. But
but
so
a
what was
quick
Gossip?
shout out to Katie. Said she's having trouble
Well,
staying awake.
it's okay,
so
Katie.
everybody say good night to Katie.
We did
'cause
start
she's
like
been
an hour and a
back.
half later than was initially planned. So
You can finish the episode tomorrow on
or
YouTube.
we could still be
She
streaming
probably-
tomorrow
Yeah.
if things don't fucking start.
That's true too. You could wake up and we'd still be sitting here.
Anyway,
hope not.
next
I
up
was
from
saying-
2000 we have.
Giz, like it pointed out. Gossip,
Next up we have
2000.
Gossip from 2000, starring James Marsden, Lena Headey, a very very young Norman Reedus, Joshua Jackson, Kate Hudson, and who's the guy that plays the teacher? Because I fucking love him and stuff.
Edward James almost.
Eric Bull.
No, he's a cop.
Bogozian.
Oh, the teacher. Oh,
So essentially, Gossip
shit.
follows three friends, Derek, Kathy, and Travis, who all live together. Katie and
Jones.
Kathy Jones is her name. Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, it's just
fine.
I thought
we have Derek, we have Jones, and we have Travis. Derek and Jones are in a kind of like a media studies sociology class. A debate comes up about how stories can spread. The guys have a thesis that they need to do, and Derek and Jones decide that they're going to start a rumor and track the rumor and see how a rumor can develop and spread, and essentially a micro study into Chinese whispers, for lack of a technical term. So they're hunting around for a little bit to find themselves a suitable story, because the best story needs to be somewhat founded in reality, so that there's something there to latch onto. They see Joshua Jackson's character, who's called Bo, and Naomi at a party. They go and begin to start canoodling in a bedroom together. Naomi is not up for it. She's feeling slightly drunk and she's feeling a little bit poorly, and mostly she's not that kind of lady. So she says no. Bo respectfully buggers off. But unfortunately for them, Derek was watching and sees a prime time example of a little bit of truth and how far can we carry it. So the story starts of how Bo and your one were fucking at the party, and then next thing that turns from we were fucking at a party to I didn't want to be fucking. I remember distinctly telling them not to fuck, and then I passed out, and then the old R word got mentioned. You know, the struggle, the cuddle struggle, the struggle cuddle, whatever you want to call it. This is my I'd say the normal word, but I just can't
Not to get kicked off.
Yeah, because
It rhymes with vape.
yeah. Yeah, she got date vaped, possibly, by
Oh, that's a new one.
So
that's a t-shirt right there.
So
yeah.
So essentially the story begins the story was that they were just fucking, and then it very quickly twisted and it starts to affect young Bo's life. But as we get further into the story, we realize that Derek hasn't been outwardly truthful about everything, and that there's a lot more sinisterness behind their thesis than was initially intended. And that is the rough synopsis of Gossip.
Okay. I think you were talking about Professor Goodwin, and that's Eric
Bogliani.
Bogson?
Okay. Bogliania? Is it?
It's Bogosian.
Oh, sorry, Jesus Christ! I fucking read that arseways. This is what I get for reading sideways. Yeah, Bogosian. Bogosian.
I'll let you say it, so I'm not going to fuck it up.
I'm staying out of this one.
But I know who you're talking about because he's like, I dig him in a lot of the shit he's doing.
He looks like Howard Stern, but he's not.
Because he's a very aggressive speaker. He usually takes like a lot of.
That's usually why I like him. He's got this really good voice. Yeah. He's got this really good voice. But essentially, how did you guys find the movie? Because I'm just due to the nature of it, I'm kind of reluctant to get super in and around bits, because if you haven't seen it, this is a really, really good dark thriller style.
It's one of those ones where it kind of has a twist, so the further you go into it, we could ruin it. So
because unlike
it's really quick. Fucking spoiled.
Because unlike a lot of movies, the twist is actually not signposted from the very start of the fucking movie, and it's something that starts to slowly reveal. And as it slowly reveals, you're like, that fucking holy no, really? What? Oh no.
Funny, I remember watching this like way the fuck back, right? But I think that was kind of like a one-time watch. I watched it and moved the fuck on. And I completely forgot it was out there. And then like, oh hey, we're gonna do this tonight, and I'm like, holy shit, all these fucking people are in it, you know, like because I've moved on. Like I'm not trying to be a dick, but like back then they were not as big as they were.
Yeah, well, I mean, nobody knew who Norman Reedus was back then. I mean, this is before.
No, it was the same time as Boondock Saints.
Oh, I was thinking it was before.
No,
because we watched it out of order. Because like I watched Boondock Saints and I was like, Norman Reedus is a bad motherfucker.
I don't know which one would have been made first, but this was definitely around, like, Boondock Saints was definitely 2000.
Oh yeah, I know it was 2000. I'm pretty sure
Because
this. You know what? I'll just Google it and just be sure. Oh no, we are wrong. Boondock Saints. It's pretty much the same. Boondock Saints was 99, and this was 2000.
It was before this.
You see,
well, Boondock Saints was a weird movie though, where it didn't get super famous straight away.
It wasn't a big movie until after a few years.
You know how a lot of us found that film.
Josephine. No, that's a joke. That's a joke.
Oh, like I fucking love Boondock Saints. I think what it was, like, I just didn't see a lot of these fucking people for who they were later on in life. Like, I'd forgot, like a one and go.
I mean, in fairness,
there was a lot of issues with Boondock Saints, especially in the States when it came out, because it was around the same time as Columbine. So that was a really big thing where it came out in 99, but it may not have gotten its just dues till maybe years after.
Okay, but like you still had James Marsden, Lena Headey, or
Jennifer
Headley,
Hudson, or Kate Hudson. Yeah, James Marsden was it? James Marsden was a guy who just fell off the face of the planet. Like, you don't see James Marsden and stuff now unless there's some animated character beside him.
No. Okay, fair enough. I was just about to say he did not fall off the face of the planet. He just went really good into fucking voice acting.
Yeah, last time I've seen him on camera was Sonic.
X-Men. See, the last time I saw him was Death at a Funeral, and then he did the X-Men
he was fucking Cyclops. I forgot about that.
Right. You know, so I find I like him more in like the not so serious. Like, he's done better roles in comedy, like Hop, Death at a Funeral, stuff like that. Yeah, I said Hop. It was good.
Nobody had any reaction to it. It's like,
what are we gonna do?
It's like, okay,
starting something. Start it. Okay.
I'm not gonna fight you over it.
Like, I just didn't like the cast potential. So rewatching, I was like, oh my god, all these up and comers. But then, like, when you look at the story, like, this was better than I fucking.
It's also if you look at the trailers and you look at the this was a bit of a sleeper movie, I think, because like the marketing side of it doesn't do the movie justice, as you'll see when we get into the trailer in a little bit.
And the reviews were terrible. Like, Rotten Tomato reviews, I looked at it.
Yeah, I have got to a stage. I have got to a stage with Rotten Tomatoes that I literally add 20% onto whatever fucking review I'm reading on there.
Right.
They're critics. They're not reviewers. They're critics.
Like, you're nicer about it than I am. I'm like, fuck Rotten Tomatoes. But I realize a lot of people.
I know how that's how we feel about it. But that's how majority of people get their opinion.
A lot of people do take them into consideration.
Yeah.
And so, like, I was kind of surprised because I was like, dude, I don't ever really like loving or hating this fucking film.
This could be a movie that it actually, like, in which it actually refined as time went by. Ordinarily, movies either are done in such a way that they're timeless and you can watch them in any period of time, or they're done in such a way that they're very on the pulse of the time and you can see them get dated as you go years further. Whereas I feel, especially with the kind of social media bullshit that's going on now and a lot of stuff that, like, it's very easy to start shit about someone and make that story go and light up very quickly. And I feel I enjoyed this more now because, as I said, as we started getting into the review, when I saw this years ago, my initial impressions were it was it was dog shit, but as an actual piece of cinema, it was shot quite well, so I didn't mind putting it in to the Schumacher side of things because it got to show off the more cinematography side of everything. But upon rewatching it, and with all of the current stuff that's going on now, and how, like, I mean, if you look at Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, like, she literally ruined that man's career temporarily talking shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I feel it's one of those movies that has become, in a weird way, it's become nearly more applicable as years have gone on than now.
Don't forget, we spoke only a couple of weeks ago about a horror movie that's going to be coming out soon based on a similar premise to this, through social media going horribly wrong.
And see, that's funny because I was kind of thinking the same thing when I was watching that. Because like I said, I don't really remember it the first time, so I was kind of wondering, with everything going on now, if this is why that fucking film stuck with me and like all of this was actually relevant. Because I'm like, now watching it, I'm like, yeah, this is why I can't fucking stand people. Rumors, we're gonna jump on anything, what have you. Like now, like it really stuck with me. Whereas, like, you know, I'm like, I watch a lot of shit and it's like, hey, that's really cool, but whatever. Now I'm like, I'm actually thinking about gossip and I'm thinking about all the shit going on into it.
And like, with my perspective is like, this is the first time I've seen it. And like, I mean, I heard you guys suggest it last week whenever we suggested it for this episode. And I didn't really do any research and look it up to see what the movie was about. So when the movie first started, I'm like, I don't know what I'm getting like. This seems like some goofy teen drama bullshit. But then as the movie kind of builds itself in, it really gets darker and darker as the movie progresses. And I'm like, son of a... Like, I even recommended it to a couple other people because, like I said, I just watched it today. And like, as soon as I got done and I was chatting with a couple people, I'm like, Gossip was actually surprisingly not that bad. It was like a pretty good movie.
It's not going to blow your mind balls off, but it'll make you sit and think, which a lot of movies can't do these days. Or won't
and
do.
The fact
Yeah,
with
very,
it
very
being,
true.
like I was saying before, with it being an hour and a half, it doesn't really give a lot of time to
Tremendous
bog
pictures.
a
What's
lot
going on,
down.
bro? Sorry,
And with
continue on.
the movie, with the way the movie is like formatted, it like stuff progresses so quickly that, like I said, like next thing you know, the movie's over. You're like, holy shit. So like I surprisingly enjoyed it. I thought this was going to be my least favorite out of the three, and actually ended up being the middle. And like Flatliners actually ended up being my least. Not saying I don't like Flatliners, but like
the movie actually escalates so quickly in craziness towards the end that at the very last scene, when it's just about to cut to the credits, you could have actually cut to that scene from Anchorman where the two lads are having the conversation, going, "Wow, that got out of hand real fast." Yeah, that escalated quickly. You know, like you could have literally just. Once
really
the dark side of the story, like, I mean, lying about shit just to see the rumor grow is dark anyway, but once you see how quickly, I mean, it was fascinating to me watching this, how quickly it went from they were fucking to rape.
Spiral
effect. Because essentially, Joshua Jackson's character was guilty of doing what a lot of guys have done over the years, and, you know, just kind of, oh yeah, I totally hooked up that chick, you know, blah, 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 blah. Because he didn't lie, because he had hooked up with her, but he just didn't tell the lads that they hadn't gone the full way. The lads,
everything.
Yeah, the lads had decided that he had hooked up with your one, and got a home. He just
didn't elaborate what happened.
They had assumed he'd got a home run, and he didn't contradict their knowledge. And unfortunately, some girl that knew the girl
ruled up.
Yeah, and unfortunately, some girl that knew the girl that he'd hooked up with heard him admitting to the lads that they'd fucked. And then at no stage was there any bit of rationale between anyone that were like, is there a chance him being a college dude that he might have talked some shit? Because I mean, even Jennifer Hudson's character at one stage is even like I don't feel like I had sex. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'd know if I was raped. Do you know what I mean? And Kate Hudson. Sorry, goddamn. Who the fuck is Jennifer Hudson?
Jennifer Hudson on the mind.
Who's Jennifer Hudson?
I think she's a musician, isn't she?
Yeah, well, not that one. It's the other Hudson. Sorry, I don't know where the fuck I'm getting Jennifer Hudson from. But yeah, I found it very interesting how quickly everything spiraled out of control.
And what is Homeboy's name again? That not Norman Reedus' character, but the other guy.
Derek.
Jason Masters.
Derek. Well, the character, but yeah, that may be the actor.
Yeah,
like, I really liked how, like, when we were progressing, then we get into his background of, like, the whole, you know, what he did in the past, and that's where I was like,
yeah,
shit.
Like, I liked that we didn't just kind of follow one narrative.
Mm-hmm.
We still, like, jumped into his background. We saw so much going on. Like, it kind of felt like you were in that kind of web of rumor, and it was up to you to figure out.
Yeah, it really put you in it really put you in the movie. Like, you were trying to figure out as much as everyone else was trying to figure out. The only issue I had with this, and it's not a big issue, is I wouldn't have minded, there's something up with that character, Travis, that Norman Reedus plays, and I wouldn't have minded a little more insight into what's going on with Travis.
Yeah, they did touch about it a little bit towards the end, but he was more of kind of like the odd man out for a lot of the movie. He was kind of like always taking that one guy's side. I just
felt he was very shoehorned in there as like a plot device trigger. Like he's the guy that's going to carry that third act to accumulation.
An edge to kind of
Giz?
But no, like it. Bottom line, like this turned out, and again, like I don't know if it's a more of like it hit home more now, or if I was just maybe too young to
appreciate it back then.
Necessarily, like life experience. Yeah, right. Like life experience, like that just didn't. Like I just didn't understand it. This shit's a good movie.
I really enjoyed it,
and it was a fuck. People just like they bugged the fuck out of me because it's like blue shoot. And then, like 12 people down, it's like a car wreck with people on fire. Like, and it is like that.
I like how we don't hit any dead ends. Like, as soon as we think we get to a dead end, we have this crazy turn to the left, and something like some new plot point is brought into the thing that you were like, "Holy crap, where the hell did this come from?" So it constantly keeps you on the edge of your seat to kind of
those plot points are also brought up in a really great manner where it's nothing's so big and dramatic that it gives away the whole story. It's just they just feed you a little nugget here and there, but that little nugget really does open up a world of shit that you're like, oh no way, what? It's great.
And I dug the fact that we even went back to the classroom and had the teacher. Like it at no point is it just kind of like this weird solo thing that these people are in the middle of. You still have that classroom teacher, hey guys, you got to watch out for this. Don't do that. Like it was still kind of a learning experience in the middle of this fucking movie that made sense.
Anyway, you have any final thoughts on it, Giz? We'll start rolling into a trailer.
I didn't get the chance to see it because technology had befouled me. All I got to do was read up on it. But I did like the idea, and when I read the story, I, to be honest, went down through it and was kind of like, okay, cool, I can see how that goes. And probably because I have seen similar things in other stories before. So whereas ye had seen it young, when you were younger and for whatever reason didn't get it, I feel that if I had watched it, had gotten the chance to watch it, I would have been like, oh yeah, I get it, especially now. So I didn't.
I feel it's one of those movies that's got more applicable with time, to be honest.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah.
Right now,
I feel like it's got better with
time. So anyway, we're going to move into the trailer for Gossip, and then we'll be back to say our goodbyes and everything like that, which will let you know what's coming up on the rest of the week's Gorecast. And other than that, if you had seen Gossip back in 2000, very much worth a rewatch, I think, in light of what's going on in modern day times. And if you haven't seen Gossip, you're going to find it inexplicably on point for a movie that's 20 years old now. Anyway, we're going to be back after these brief gossip-related messages, because that's how I say trailers.
Okay, class, like everything else in America today, this revolution will be televised. News is gossip. What do you think?
People are people. We do what we do, and then we gossip about it. And I like gossip. It's fun.
So what are you going to do for good one's paper?
Maybe we should do one together.
If it were a game, would you play it?
I think we should start a rumor. Track and see how it grows.
These two are in the room next door making out, and she passes out and he splits.
If it were a drug, would you be addicted?
How's this gossip?
Well, we spread it around like they went ahead and had sex in the bedroom while the party was still going on.
Apparently, she and Bo were up in one of the bedrooms having sex during the party.
Did you tell somebody that something happened?
I just have to say I was surprised.
Absolutely not.
If you were bragging about it,
I don't need to lie about sex.
Her shirt stays on.
Just barely.
Barely. Somebody sees.
She wasn't actually wearing a bra.
Oh, yes, she was.
I heard. She wears black rubber bras.
If it were a weapon, would you pull the trigger?
Whatever it is that you think I did, I don't know why you think that.
This is an ugly turn, Derek.
You loved it when it was a three-way.
It can turn you on or turn on you.
Get out! Stop it.
And they sit
2,
outside the
1.
shit.
And we're back. That was the trailer for Gossip. Yeah, as myself and the lad said, I would highly recommend giving that. Actually, literally all movies on the card today, and even the ones that were discussed that weren't on the card, bar the Flatliners remake, not worth your time. But Boondock Saints, give that a watch.
So,
Boondock Saints, give that a watch.
Yes, love me.
The
Boondock
sequel.
Saints.
One was awesome.
The sequel was okay.
Sequel
Yeah,
was pretty
I liked
good.
it.
I liked the sequel.
I'm
looking. If they ever bring up more of it, I will watch it.
Like that was the only good thing about the sequel.
The comic.
Anyway,
yeah.
Lost
Yeah, it was
Boys.
alright.
If you haven't seen it, you need to give it a watch. Flatliners. If you haven't seen it, you need to give it a watch. Boondock Saints got brought up. If you haven't seen it, you need to give it a watch. Gossip. If you haven't seen it, you need to give it a watch.
Right.
And Flatliners remake did get brought up as well. You can dodge that. You can dodge that.
Like fucking
That will not be on a future episode of Original versus Remake.
Boy.
I'll just let you guys know
Yeah.
that right now
major
because I don't want to watch it. Plus, it's going to be kind of like half opinions because we just did Flatliners.
Yeah, but
today.
you could leave it for
It's
could
like
leave
we
it for a
kinda
couple
already
of
know my
months
opinion.
down the road, and you could get more into it.
Oh,
I'm not
Jesus,
telling you
God
do it.
damn
I'm
it.
merely suggesting.
well,
I don't know when it got to a stage
No,
that
it's an
everything I
idea.
say is supposed to be law. I like it. Don't get me wrong. I like that that's the vibe that's going on.
I'm not gonna lie though, Buzz. Like it's both kind of like a 50-50. They both had kind of
Yeah.
good and bad shit about them. One more than the other, but
Anyway, that's us done up for tonight. Yet again, I'm very, very sorry about all of the lagginess and everything. I don't get to troubleshoot the stuff unless I'm live, and so I'm slowly figuring out where the kinks have developed again. I do think it's very much... actually, do you know what? There's been no crashes in the last 20 minutes and Dropbox has stopped syncing everything up. So I feel there's a very high possibility that Dropbox... And on godful amounts of TV.
We cannot blame me for mentioning a certain movie.
Don't you dare! Don't even mention it. Don't even say it. Don't even say it. Hang on.
Funny enough, I think like Cinema Reek brought that up. It was like, oh,
Yeah.
Buzz just needs to stop talking
Sorry,
about that.
here's the story there, mate. While I say Dropbox is causing it today, it was very odd that every time you tried to defend that piece of shit, that the stream stopped. So, troubleshoot.
Well, hopefully we don't do a franchise review of the Friday the 13th movie because that stream will last
I have no
8.5
problem.
hours.
It doesn't need to last 8.5. Sorry, number one, it doesn't need to last 8.5 hours. Myself and Giz did that entire franchise in 22 minutes before.
No, I'm just saying it's going to be 8.5 hours because it's going to constantly be freezing up because I'm going to keep talking.
Yeah,
about
but
the
if you
movie.
just disagree with what your gut's telling you and tell the truth that the movie's god fucking awful, there won't be an issue. It's just when you try.
Oh, that's what it's the fact that I'm defending it.
Yeah,
not
yeah,
that I'm talking
it's-
about it.
Right, like he's all. Oh my god!
Put it in
watch
1950
this.
speak. I believe it's that the
Internet
internet
like
considers you to be speaking poppycock and stopped you doing it.
That is not
Whatever.
1950s.
Whatevs. Anyway,
That's going on a T-shirt with.
You know what? No, 1950s.
Anyway,
Britain, you're right.
coming up on this Sunday's Gorecast with myself and Giz, we got a whole lot of screeners in. Uncorked sent me a whole bunch of them directly, and then I got some. We have some from Wild Eye Releasing as well, which I had pulled. Excuse me. One moment, I had them pulled up here. Where did you go? We are going to be covering Coven, Homewrecker, and There's a documentary night. I figured out what we're doing for next Thursday as well. Right. Okay. So 1 minute now. Where did it go? Okay. So we're going to be doing Coven, Home Wrecker, and that's from Encore Entertainment, and from Wild Eye Releasing. There's another crazy wrestling movie from them called Parts Unknown, which looks quite interesting. Vampire Wrestlers.
The story of the Ultimate Warrior.
So that's what myself and Giz are going to be covering this Sunday. On Tuesday, Carter and Buzz are... They're doing original versus remake Tuesdays again, which are going to be Poltergeist.
Ooh.
And then I think it's Wild Eye Releasing as well. So next Thursday, myself, Buzz, and Carter for the group chat. And Buzz, I know, will be happy about this. We're going to do some horror documentaries. So we're going to do... We're going to do the Friday the 13th documentary. We're going to do the Nightmare on Elm Street documentary. And...
Oh my God, I've been wanting to watch that one.
We're going to be doing... where is the synopsis? Here we go. And we're going to be doing All Hail the Popcorn King. There's a reason that that's in there. A 5-star documentary on award-winning author and screenwriter Joe R. Lansdale, director of Bubba Hotep, is gearing up for release later this year, today courtesy of Squee, the official trailer, and an opportunity to review the film, which we will be reviewing. Also featuring in it, featuring Bruce Campbell, Mick Garris, Don Coscolari, James Purefoy, and more. So I'm not exactly sure how full-blown horror documentary it is, but it's got Bubba Hotep up in the mix, and I fucking love Bubba Hotep. It's Ash, but he's Elvis. What more do you want?
Fuck, like perfect.
Look at us being prepared for the week.
I do have that question though. What's the Nightmare on Elm Street?
I can't remember the name of it.
That one. Never Sleep Again?
It. Well, because
it's
like
long.
I know we watched it.
You know.
Okay, because I just remember one called.
Oh yeah, we did watch it.
That covered the. Fuck was it? The second film. Scream Queen.
We're going to be doing some horror documentaries on Thursday. We won't say that they're all solidified in. I do think we'll do the Friday the 13th one because I found that really interesting because it's funny, like the whole story of how the movie came about and everything. For definite, and we will be
okay. We'll have a discussion on which one because probably
we will definitely be doing All Hail the Popcorn King.
So I know his name was Jason, which is a documentary for Friday the 13th.
Okay, well maybe we'll have a chat and we'll see what ones we haven't seen. Might be interesting if we do do some ones that we haven't seen.
Sorry, now you're seeing how we figure out our episodes.
But this is what I always envisioned for the group chat Thursdays is we kind of bash out what we're going to do a little bit live, and if anyone has suggestions, wink wink, nudge nudge, chat. If there's any horror documentaries before we go that you have in mind that you think we might like, by all means, drop them in the chat. We'll be happy to give those a watch and throw them up in the mix as well. So we could always do a part 2 because, from what I understand, there's never a shortage of horror. There's never a shortage of horror. Never a shortage of horror documentaries. Anyway, on that note, customarily, this is where I'd let you know what we got coming up on American Horrors. But to the best of my knowledge, myself and Giz are on holidays for a week or two, so there's just going to be some. I'm not exactly sure what he's putting up. I'd imagine he'll probably be playing the July 4th. One of the July 4th episodes we did.
I forgot we did one of them.
We did 2. So I'd imagine we're going to be playing. He'll have one of those playing. And
maybe 2.
Maybe 2. You never know.
You did a Stranger Things one, I think, didn't you?
Demented Pictures. No, sorry. Oh no. Hold up. No wait. You too, Michael. Awesome. What about that guy, Dick Miller, made by Daniel Ferrens?
Miller? Yeah, right. Like.
You should do that one. It's about Dick Miller, and it's awesome. Okay. I've said Dick Miller a lot there with no context. I just noticed. I kind of like...
Oh, dude. That motherfucker's been in so many things.
Okay.
Holy shit.
We'll take a look at that Dick Miller documentary, All Hail the Popcorn King, and Miscellaneous. Because I don't know what the third one is yet. So, anyway, for myself and the Giz and Buzz and Carter, we'll catch you all. Well, myself and Giz will catch you Sunday. Buzz and Carter will catch you Tuesday. And then we'll all catch you next Thursday, where we're going to be talking about some other sort of mad horror bollocks. And quite likely also not mad horror bollocks, as tends to be the group chat Thursdays, because random shit just eludes on out there. But from all of us, thanks for joining us yet again. Sorry for the stream issues. We're going to hopefully have them resolved by Sunday and all of this shit next week. And peace out, homies. Catch you later. Bye.
Take care.
Oh, that didn't fade over.